People often overcomplicate their calorie consumption on a daily basis. Give us the next 2 to 3 minutes and we'll show you how to make it nice and simple. One thing that you can do with your calories, which you might often see on things like MyFitnessPal, is to split your calories as percentages, as you can see from here. For both examples, we are basing it on an 80 kilo person at around 2,000 calories per day. And what you might see a lot of the time is a split of around 30% for protein, 40% for carbs, and 30% for fats. You might also see 40, 40, 20, but we'll break that down just now. If we take a 2,000 calorie overall for the day and we split it into this calculation here, your total amount of protein, you're looking at 600 calories and around 150 grams of protein. That is 30% of the total for 2,000 calories. With carbs, again, if we take the 40% of that, we're looking at 800 calories, which broken down into the amount of grams that you need is 200 grams. For your fats, 30% of 2,000, we're looking at around 600 calories, and then this breaks down into 66 grams of fat. So we break that down knowing that 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So once you know this, you'll be able to break this down into what that 2,000 calorie look like. However, if we start to look at changing the calorie consumption slightly, if we change this to 2,100, for example, this then skews out our protein, our fats, and our carbs. It changes it all slightly. However, if we look at our other example in a second, you'll see that generally we will keep the protein the same throughout. So by all means, you can use this. Just be aware when you start to change your calories, or if you change things, it's a little bit stricter as well, because if you're set for 40% of carbs and you go over, then essentially you might think that you failed. We'll go to the other example now so that you can see why we prefer this one. The second example here, option B, is in my opinion much easier to give out to general population as well. Again, we are basing it on a 2,000 calorie example, but this time we're focusing our protein. This stays the same regardless, and we're basing this on 1 pound per pound of body weight. Again, some people may think this is too high, but you can work up essentially 0.8 to 1 pound per pound of body weight for protein. So this works out to be 176 grams of protein per day for an 80 kilo person in our example. Then essentially you have 1,296 calories remaining, and you can essentially use this as you like. So some days you might have higher carbs, some days you might have lower fats. You might have higher fats one day, you might have lower carbs another day. So essentially if you're doing this between the both, up and down, as long as you're not always low on carbs or you're always low on fats, this is most likely the better option for most people. And again, if fat loss is your goal and you aren't in a calorie deficit, either of these will not work if you're not in the calorie deficit at the end of the day. Hope this helps. As well, what we have below, we have a calorie calculator below that you can grab for free, which will give you an idea of where it exactly is that you need to work from. Again, it's never going to be 100% accurate to start with, so play around with it for 10 to 14 days, being as accurate as possible to see how accurate you are with your starting point. If you need to drop it, then we can obviously drop it by 100 to 200 per day. If you need to up it, then obviously do the opposite.